Oh, ciao, ciao. Hi guys, and welcome to the show. And today I'm going to be reviewing my favorite G-Shock. It's a rebuy. I had some e-bucks that I had to spend from all the purchases that I've been doing. I had a lot of e-bucks, so I didn't want to waste it. Basically, it's a rebuy, so technically it's not the first time I've owned it. And a butterfly just tried to land on me. Anyway. Very hot here, so I'm in the park in the shade. I've got a little a little rascal with me. As you can see, I've got the lovely neon luminescent. Anyway, very hot here. You up to? So anyway, just trying to keep cool in the shade. So this G-Shock is absolutely fantastic. It's a military concept G-Shock, but it's I've actually got it on my other wrist. Anyway, check out. Let's go into the review. It's too hot to talk here. Okay, hi guys, and welcome to the show. And today we are looking at the Mudman G9000MS-1, and of course the MS refers to military series, and this is the third incarnation of the Mudman, and in my view my personal favorite. Now obviously, this being the military series, it is entirely blacked out with a negative display with this really cool kind of hue of red, and then when we press the backlight, I'm not sure if you're going to be able to see this, with a green backlight. So really cool color scheme. Now, as I said, this is the third incarnation of the Mudman, and it has been superseded by the newer Mudman that has, I believe, a digital compass and a thermometer. So technically this is a little bit dated now, but in my view, I still really enjoy this watch for a number of reasons. The original Mudman, I believe, came out in 1985. This version came out in 2006, and you can get it in a whole variety of colors. There is even a camouflage version, which I believe is extremely rare. There's a sand colored, but I really love the color scheme of the military. It's just all blacked out, very kind of sleek and understated. And really the only detail is on the dial. So this is a discontinued model, and as I said, I picked it up using my eBay bucks. I thought for around about $70. I just think it's an absolute bargain. A really tough watch. Even by G-Shock standards, this is, in my opinion, one of their most toughest. This being the military series, there are a couple of little changes and features that are specifically tailored for military use, which I'll get into in just a moment. But let's start off looking at the LCD. So we have day of the week, date. At the top here we have the auto EL, indicates that it's on. We have a 60-minute progression bar here, and then another one on the bottom. This is for the first stopwatch and second stopwatch. Then we have a little progression bar. Maybe if I turn the backlight on, you can just see it filling up. Not really much use to this, just a very cool animation to kind of give you an idea of how much time is elapsed. We have a flash indicator, and then the 4 alarm indicators here. Now as you see, they are all off at the moment. This is a battery powered quartz version, And normally with the solar G-Shock, you'd have the solar panels embedded here around the edge, but because this is a battery version, this panel here actually is transparent, so when you hit the illumination button, it's tricky to see, but as you can see, these markings are also illuminated. You can still read everything that's going on in the dial, which I think is a really cool little feature. Even the little Casio logo at the top lights up. So we have the button for the dual illuminator at the bottom, stop start obviously, split reset, obviously we have a chronograph, a split timer, adjust, and then mode here. Now these buttons are quite difficult to press, and something that I really like about this model is that they are really tough. You definitely have to have you have to really push it down quite firmly. And the reason I like that is because as we're just cycling through the modes here, alarms, world time, London obviously, stopwatch 1, stopwatch 2, the timer, so on and so forth. I really like these buttons because you're not going to accidentally press them when it's on your arm, which is something that I have found with other G-Shocks. Now the reason for this is obviously it being a military version, you can't make mistakes, and you don't want to, if you're timing a time sensitive operation or something that requires timing to be very precise, you don't want to accidentally press buttons and so on and so forth. So some people don't like it. Personally, I do like it, and you do get used to, you know, pressing a little bit harder than you normally would. And as I'm doing my review, obviously I'm wearing my trademark gloves, so that's another thing, is that if you are in the field, you most probably might have gloves on. You know, usually when I go shooting, I do have quite thick rubber gloves on, so it's nice to be able to use the buttons comfortably with gloves on. Really comfortable strap. There's quite a lot going on the underneath. Now, if the light permits, we will be able to see there's a little racing mole etching on the back, which I think is a cool touch. Water resistant to 20 bars, of course, so which is really good for diving. And you'll notice these 6 little pads here. Now what those do is, if we just look at the profile view of it, they just raise when it sits on your wrist, it raises the watch up slightly and just lets air and water pass underneath. So it just adds a little bit of comfort. And these little pads, they kind of grip quite comfortably onto your onto your skin. You know, it's just very comfortable, especially if you're sweating a lot. You know, the watch is not going to irritate you as much. It just adds a little bit of comfort. Now the size of this piece is again one of my main reasons for liking this watch so much. In the whole scheme of things, this G-Shock is a lot smaller than some of the modern offerings that we see today. It's actually, let's just give it a quick measurement. So its diameter comes in at 44. Well, let's say 43 and a half, really. Now it is big. In the whole scheme of things, this G-Shock actually isn't that large, and it wears very comfortably, mainly because of this kind of these curved special kind of wings that allow it to sit very comfortably on your wrist. So it wears quite small, even though it does look quite big, and I really like that. One of the reasons I really like this piece is the backlight. Now the backlight, in a minute I'll try and take a shot of this in the dark so you can see the backlight working fully. Another little thing that I really appreciate is they kept the blacked out theme even on the metal buckle, so they've got a gunmetal I don't know if it's PVD or whatever it is, but I do like that they kept the theme going throughout the watch. So the watch itself it's the most functional design, in my opinion, of the G-Shock. It's just no nonsense. Everything is there for a reason. It's, you know, these buttons on the left are square and the ones on the right are right, so you can instantly, even with your eyes shut, you can feel what you're doing. You don't even have to look at the watch to operate it, and I really like that kind of tactile little details. Really well designed. Now obviously this is quite obsolete compared to the new Mudman, which has, you know, the twin sensors and thermometer and digital compass and solar and blah blah blah, but actually I feel they've got too big. I just like the simplicity, and I prefer the design of this personally, and I think for $70 it's an absolute bargain. And as I said, they are not making this anymore, so I expect it will go the way that many G-Shocks have gone, and the price will go up as they get more scarce. So I think for $70 it was a really good deal, and this is just a perfect beater for me. Just really tough, really resilient. You know, you could drop this off the Empire State Building, and I would put money on. I'd bet $1,000 that if you dropped it off the Empire State Building, it would still work when you picked it off the floor. Really, really cool, and I love this kind of design. It's kind of like retro futuristic. Reminds me of Silent Running and you know, kind of 70s classic sci-fi. You know, so that's really cool. And actually, if you look in here, if it will focus, this is actually some kind of metal, so that this plastic casing is protecting the actual module. Oh, and while we're on the module, we should really mention the model itself. This is the 3031, a very robust, extremely reliable quartz powered. We have the dual stopwatches, which I think is a really, really cool feature, and on occasion I have found it useful. These two bars, we got a 60-minute countdown progress bar for both stopwatches. So when you, let me just engage one of the stopwatches so we can see it in action. So as you can see, we've engaged stopwatch 1, and the first little bar here is filling up. So that's just a useful representation of time passing. And the actual timer, it can time up to 1,000 hours, which is 41 days, which is crazy. So you can do quite complex, long, you know, you could time a whole trip, which I think is really, really cool. And as you can see, the little, let's just if I engage the light, you can just see the little progress bar filling up, which are the little animation here, which I think is a really nice touch. I do apologize, it is extremely bright in here. It's a very sunny day, so it is quite difficult to see, but actually in real life this negative display is pretty good. It's just very reflective here because of the light, but trust me, it is absolutely fantastic. There's not much detail, or you know, the design is very ergonomical and very, you know, it's militaristic in nature. It's just right down to business, you know. It's that's the whole point of it, and I really like that aesthetic. The only little design flair, well, of course, we've got in grey we have the marking 3031, which refers to the module, and mud resist on the back. So just a really good, solid, all-round beater watch, and in my personal favourite G-Shock. Another thing worthy to point out is, because of the lack of solar panels and this being the quartz version, this LCD is what's called a low temperature LCD, and has improved resistance to extreme low temperatures. So you could actually freeze this if you dropped it into into a lake, for example, over or a pond or something over the winter, and it froze solid and then it thawed. In theory, it should still be working by the time the ice is frozen, and this watch will still keep going, unlike the solar paneled versions, which have the solar panels embedded in the display here. So that is a really cool feature. I mean, is it really practical? I mean, if you're going to go climb Mount Everest or something like that, then sure, it is something you'd want to have, but not really practical for every day. But it's just a cool thing that you can say, oh well, my watch is you know, is resistant to extreme low temperatures, you know. So that's probably one major advantage this model has over its successors, is that it is, despite being older, far more resistant to extreme temperatures and harsh conditions. So that's a really cool thing. Anyway, so let's switch over to a quick view of this bad boy in the dark, so we can get an idea of its lume. So as you can see, guys, the illumination on this is really bright, and as I was trying to explain earlier, you see the white writing around the outside. It is in fact transparent and illuminates with the backlight, which on the solar models doesn't happen because that space is taken up by the solar panels. So this just gives an extra little bit of detail, and allows you to read, sorry if I ever get it in focus, allows you to read the markings for the progress bars that are on the top and bottom. And you can have a choice of 5 seconds or 3 seconds for the backlight. As you can see, it's on 5 seconds at the moment. But really cool. I just love the green backlight. It's probably my favorite out of the different colors you can get on G-Shocks. The red, you know, when it's not illuminated, I think is really cool. So fantastic backlight on this piece. Okay guys, I'm gonna go back to the studio. Okay, and welcome back guys, and you join me back here in my studio, and I just thought I'd kind of finish off the video with just a little kind of conclusion. It was really hot in the park, and I'm so thankful to be back in my air-conditioned little studio here. Anyway, so a kind of funny thing happened with the G-Shock. I went to put on my usual everyday watch that's been in rotation, and so far it's been the most common watches that I've been wearing is the Squire and my Seamaster. For everyday, a diver is my go-to watch. But what I have missed sometimes about wearing like G-Shocks and kind of like my Flightmaster Seiko, my beta watches, I do like having the chronograph. I do like having alarms and dual time, all those kind of things. So what happened really was, just out of accident, I put this one on this wrist, and I thought, well, first I thought maybe I'll put 2 watches on one wrist, which is a bit crazy. But then I remembered General Schwarzkopf, the infamous American general who led, was it the Gulf War? I can't remember. Anyway, I'm sure you guys who are into contemporary military history be able to correct me. But anyway, General Schwarzkopf used to wear a Seiko SKX diver on one wrist and a gold Rolex day-date President on the other wrist. And he would have, I think, one watch in Washington Pentagon time or something, and the other in whatever local time. And I kind of thought that was a really cool idea. So I started yesterday, I started wearing both pieces. I have this one in my local New York time, and then I have this one, I'm not sure if you can see, but maybe I'll put the light on. There you go. London time. So so I've got dual time zones, and I've got my 4 alarms on here. So I'm using them for all kinds of reminders. So which is really useful. So I know at 10 o'clock I've got to do this, and then I have another one at 2 o'clock when I have a deadline for another project, and then I have one for my YouTube to remind me to upload the video and blah blah blah. So it's actually quite useful. Also, I love having the 2 stopwatches, so I can time. Well, and actually, I kind of have 3 now because I can use the bezel as well. But the advantage of being able to stop and pause and which is fantastic. So I'm really enjoying that. So yeah, a little bit eccentric, but it's fun and it's functional. And when I'm out and about, I've got all the functionality of my G-Shock, but yet I've still got I'm still being faithful to my passion for automatic pieces. So I'm really excited. Now, those of you who are familiar with my collection will know that I have a Rangeman, or a G-Shock Rangeman. One of the things I don't really like about that, I find it a tad too big, and I do prefer the kind of more mid-size. I mean, I know this looks huge, but G-Shock's always going to be a little bit big because their casings, it's part of the design to be a G-Shock, shock proof, you know, so most of the damage is going to be taken by the case. I don't mind it being a little tad bit bigger, but this one actually for a G-Shock is quite a modest size, so I'm really enjoying it. I just love the military kind of stealth aesthetic. I really like this, so I'm really enjoying it. Anyway, as I was recording this, the doorbell rang and my sin has indeed arrived, so I'm very excited. I think I'm going to do a very quick unboxing. So anyway, I'm going to leave this video, I'm going to wrap this video up now. I know it's a little bit eccentric, but why not? I don't really care what people think anyway, so why not maximize your enjoyment? Start wearing 2 watches. Do I really need a GMT? Why can't I just have wear 2 watches, maybe 2 automatics? So I'm following in the tradition of General Schwarzkopf and rocking the dual timepieces. Anyway, I'm going to get back to doing this unboxing and enjoying a bit of Verdi. I think I'm going to have to do a vlog on opera at some point. I just become obsessed with it personally. But anyway, alright guys, I'm going to leave it there. Thank you very much for watching. Please like this video if you enjoyed it. Subscribe if you haven't. And please add your comments down below. I really would like to hear what you have to say, and I really appreciate hearing your opinions. And also, I'd really like to know what your favourite G-Shock is, or maybe you're not into G-Shocks, or is there a G-Shock that you're considering? I'd love to hear your thoughts. Okay guys, thank you very much for watching, and I'll catch you next time. Ciao.